Iceland is typically described as the land of ice and fire, and after visiting this summer, it's very clear why it is referenced like this. Tag along with me, guys, as I go about Iceland and talk about volcanoes, glaciers, waterfalls, and even elves. Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Sheyko. That's why we're holding on to the rope. This is going to be very cold. And I try to make social studies a little bit more interesting. Come along as I travel around the world and learn about history, geography, and much more. There are so many waterfalls throughout Iceland.
Wow.
They're all very beautiful. But by the end of our trip, we'd seen so many waterfalls because there's just so many. We just kind of said, oh, look, there's another waterfall. There were still a few, though, that stood out to us. This waterfall here is called Derifoss, foss meaning waterfall. So every waterfall we saw had the word foss in the name. Iceland has a very literal way of naming things. So if it's a waterfall, they're going to have that part of the name. Derifoss is one of the most powerful waterfalls in all of Europe, which really isn't that surprising. I mean, just look at it. It has the power. Iceland has so many waterfalls due to its geography of mountains, glaciers, and their warm climate from the North Atlantic. And because of all of the waterfalls, I think it's really easy to walk away from Iceland thinking, okay, well, I'm kind of, sick and tired of waterfalls. But one of my favorite parts of Iceland. This is the waterfall we're here for, right?
Yep. Cool.
Similar to waterfall sightings, close your eyes, throw a rock somewhere, and you'd hit a church. I don't recommend this. But because of all the small towns within Iceland, there's a necessity for a lot of churches, especially from a country that widely practices Christianity. These churches are small, quaint, while they're still exhibiting stunning details. Other structures used in Iceland include turf houses. Used by the first settlers, these houses harnessed the soil's capability to retain heat. The roof is lined with packed soil, and the grass roots help hold it all together. Now, if you walk around a modern Icelandic city today, you're not going to be running into these turf houses. These practices, weren't ideal, and now you have other materials to build. You'll see a lot of Scandinavian type of architecture, similar to what you'd see in Denmark or Norway. Usually these houses have steep roofs for snow, and they're painted bright colors.
3, 2, 1. Nothing. We must suck.
That was so rude.
We must really suck at calls.
Let's say we actually did throw a rock in Iceland. In all reality, you'd probably hit a sheep. Watch us unsuccessfully try to lure one of these beasts as I say a few things.
Arm yourself with grass.
These animals exist in Iceland as one of the purest of breeds because of Iceland's location. They outnumber the humans almost 3 to 1. They roam free in the summer months until September, when they are corralled for the winter months. The free-roaming sheep can make for an interesting drive at times, but mostly they get out of the way and they run alongside you. Sheep are used for 2 different things. One, they're raised to be food. The second thing is they're raised for their wool. Their wool has 2 layers. The outside layer is waterproof, while the inside is very soft.
You want it? Actually, not that bad. It wouldn't be that bad to put between your toes.
This strange bird here is called the puffin. Iceland is home to many of these unique birds. I also had the opportunity to eat one, and it tasted like a salty chicken. I've talked about sheep and puffin being used as food, but what do you think is the main source of food on an island? You guessed it, fish. So this paste is actually Norwegian in nature. It's like a toothpaste, except it's made out of smoked cod. It's good for your soul. Sadly, my friends didn't enjoy it as much as me. There is an abundance of fresh fish here, and we were lucky enough to find a reasonably priced buffet to try a whole bunch of different types of fish here.
Hello, sheep.
If the sun wasn't covered up by the clouds, as Iceland is notorious for its sporadic weather changes, it might actually shine for a very long time. The summer months experience what is called midnight sun, where because of Iceland's position close to the Earth's North Pole and the tilt of the Earth, the sun remains at the horizon in June. This also means that in the winter they experience lots of darkness, with a few days experiencing a couple hours of dusk and then just more darkness.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? I was born in it.
I lucked out for half of the trip was filled with nice weather. The second half I had to bear with less ideal conditions.
I'm going all the way up there, if you can even see it. There's a big old climb. No idea if I'll be able to even see anything up here. Best view of the trip. Look at that white cloud. Look at that white cloud. Look at that white cloud. Now I gotta go down. Ugh. This has got a lot more fun if you like getting wet and cold and having wind in your face. We're having fun though. We're having fun.
This spot is the natural fortress of the Elf Queen, as elves are one of the folklore that Iceland has to offer. Elves! No, not those types of elves. Also known as the hidden people, they are said to live inside of rocks and are very similar to humans, just taller, fairer, and more beautiful. Basically what people rattle off when they compare me to Brad Pitt.
I don't see any elves.
Oh! One of the coolest things about Iceland is its water. Now that might not sound very interesting. You might be saying, why does not come if there's Sheyko? But I was able to sit in a natural hot spring while it was 30 degrees out and I didn't become a human popsicle. That sounds pretty cool to me. All around the country there are natural hot springs that are created by the volcanic activity under the island.
Nice and warm.
These hot springs provided warmth at multiple times on the trip as I was sleeping in a car, and I'm pretty sure I burned millions of calories just shivering. Just because it has a hot springs though doesn't mean all of its water is hot.
This is so relaxing.
I found out the hard way when my climbing forced my hand to swim.
Jogging it. Sorry.
This area was the prettiest part of Iceland, as the reflection of light off the minerals in the water makes it look a most fantastic blue.
Well, we gotta go over because I did some stupid stuff. Shoe fell. Now we're in trouble. Oh well, here we go. This is gonna be very cold. Yeah.
Iceland's water is some of the cleanest water in the world. How clean, you ask? The geothermal conditions don't just produce hot springs. In certain conditions, it can create geysers. Lastly, all the water also creates an abundance of fun things to do on the water, like kayaking. Iceland has a lot of water, it gets a lot of rain, but there's one more thing about precipitation that I'd like to make a note about here. Glaciers! These tightly packed masses of snow are receding even in Iceland, and I got a chance to visit a few of them here. Vatnajökull is home to the largest of the glaciers in Iceland. We took a tour here that walked us through the glacier, not on it, but through it. Built in 2015, these tunnels are literally alive. They move with the glacier, but very slowly. These tunnels, they're lit with lights, and the deeper the blue is, the denser the ice is. This tunnel system even had a church in it. I tried to find a stranger to marry, but she said no.
Is this where you do your video log where you're gonna explain?
Am I gonna be in your class?
No. I'm gonna cut you out.
It's so bright.
It looks very bright out. But maybe that means we can see more? Or maybe we're just...
I thought it was very bright when we came out.
Yeah. That's true, you were
After I
sleeping.
I woke up to it like I didn't miss much because I can't see anything.
There is no land of ice and fire without volcanoes. Now, I must have been wearing my lucky underwear because I lucked out on my trip as a volcano started to erupt the day that I flew in. The volcano brought waves of people to see it, and construction took place to accommodate the influx of tourists, but also locals to the site. The smell of burning increased as I got closer and closer, and I didn't realize the scale of the eruption that I would see until I got there.
That is awesome. Feel the heat.
I was told that this eruption was perfect for viewing. Some eruptions emit too many gases and create dangerous environments. This one was closed a little bit before in my trip, but opened up basically the last day I was in Iceland, and so my lucky underwear came in handy twice. These volcanoes produce a fun rock formation I saw a few times in my hikes called columnar formations or basalt columns. These hexagon-shaped rocks are formed through the cooling process of lava, and some scientists say this could be spurred on by rapid cooling caused by water, which really would be that surprising. The formations I saw here had previously been underwater, but the water level has decreased in this area and has uncovered them. The shapes it produced are definitely amazing to see in person. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you learned a little bit about Iceland, what it'd be like to be there. If you ever get the chance to visit it, I would highly recommend it. Let me know if you ever need advice on where to go as well. But other than that, I hope to see you guys next time.
Could I get a kick drum?
What is that?
I don't know. Slogging it up now. Squishy shoes with a whole bunch of rain, water in them. I'm 10 1/4 in, just on my first person. Apparently no one likes the weather.